And I think the most important thing is, and it's funny, Beth did the video this afternoon, didn't she, what her best Man United 11 is. This is my best 11. Lemens in goal, has to be. I struggle. I literally was going to say Ahmad right wing back, and I think that's a massive conversation. Look, definitely Yoro, De Ligt and Shaw. Definitely Dorgu. Right wing back. I don't know whether I want to say Mazraoui at the moment, because I don't know about Ahmad and I don't want Delo there. Midfield 2, I think it's got to be... I want to say Agate and Mainu, but it's a punt. And I don't want to say Bruno and Mainu because I don't think it works. So it can work though. I just don't know the midfield, you know. Front 3, piece of piss. Sesko, and Burmo and Cunha. But I can't give you my best 11. That is such a sad thing to say, isn't it? I don't know who to put at right wing back and I don't know who to put in the midfield. It's got to be, I don't know about you, but it's got to be one of the first times in years I can't confidently give you the best of 11 when everybody's fit. I just can't do it. I don't know. I don't know what my best midfield is. Malp says it doesn't even exist. But look, sink or swim for Manchester United. That's what we're talking about. We will deviate onto stuff that you want to talk about. Look, I think that games are won and lost in the midfield. Boring. I say it all the time. He's got to find a midfield too that we as fans can get behind. I think one of the biggest... Look, this is a massive test. It's the biggest test of Amorim's short, young career as a manager. He has to deliver a vision of a best 11. And we won't always pick it because of injury and form, but we should be able to name our best 11. I guarantee you, most teams in the Premier League, most fans know what their best 11 is. I don't know who the right wing back is. I don't know who the midfield 2 is. It's not my job to know that. If you're forcing me, I'd probably say Mazraoui right wing back. And if you're forcing me, I'd probably say Agate and Mainu as my midfield 2. But I realise that is such a punt. But I just think it's balanced best. And then Bruno's not in the team. In which case, I've just lost 100 million quid. So you've got to get Bruno in the team. But maybe you could put Burmo right wing back and put Bruno next to Cunha. But the reality is, as ASAP, he has to establish a best 11. You can't be coming into any Premier League season not knowing what your best 11 is. And I think in the first 3 games, we've done okay, but Šeško hasn't started a game yet. So we can't really assess what Man United are because he hasn't picked his best 11 yet, because he hasn't picked a striker yet at the start. Got some really interesting games coming up. Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool are all coming up in the next few weeks. And whilst I do think when we hit game 10, that's when the real season starts for us and hopefully we'll be in a rhythm. I think it's such a big season, which will culminate in what James said about at the end of this season, every Man United fan needs to realise, and the media, that they either sack him or give him a new contract, which I think is an enormous thing. Like, you know, if he's got a 4-year contract and he finishes 8th, there's nothing really to do. But they have to hand him a new contract or they have to sack him because he's only got 12 months left. That makes this season even more important. And if we have a bad season, and you can define what a bad season would be. I mean, I think 10th would be a bad season. I think 9th would be a bad season. I think 8th, you're borderline. 7th ain't great, but you get away with it. And anything lower than 10th, forget about it. Anything higher than 7th is a good season. So, you know, I think there's that area, that grey area around 7th and 8th. 9th and 10th won't be good enough. But the problem is, I think people maybe look at it from Amorim's point of view and go, well, what happens with Amorim? But I look at it from an Inos point of view and I go, can they survive it? It's sink or swim for them. And therefore it's sink or swim for us. And it's sink or swim for the club. If this season goes badly and you have to make major changes again, that's major financial change. It's another year out of the Champions League, which is so important. I think it's a sink or swim season for Manchester United. And I think that's why if there's any sprouts of positivity, we have to be hopeful and get behind them. I mean, I look at Newcastle's 12 losses last year and they finished 5th. I'm like, surely we can, with no Europe ourselves, surely there's a way that we can mastermind a season where we, can get the same points that Newcastle did last year and hope that that's going to be enough.